Hello, my name is Tana Rose, and today I will be talking about my research creating the interactive virtual reality opera Artemis Autumn Air. My research focuses on the process of developing a model for iterative self-experiential prototyping for virtual reality opera creation. My model for creating virtual reality opera employs the act of doing, the act of reflecting, and the act of receiving expert advice in an iterative loop. This model has been created to enable independent virtual reality opera creators to explore prototyping methods and strategies in creating extended reality opera productions. My research entails prototyping interactive audio processes in my extended reality opera experience, Artemis Autumn Air. My research is situated at the intersection of science, technology, and art, drawing upon underpinning theories of human-computer interaction. Making a virtual reality opera entails game design, sound design, composition, architecture, game development, and precision to detail. Two prototyping methodologies are employed to create an interactive EXE version of the opera and YouTube VR versions of each music composition from the opera. The model can be applied to both the creation of EXE prototypes and YouTube VR prototypes. This research explores the iterative self-experiential prototyping process of creating a VR opera. The process entails prototyping a virtual world to act as the operatic performance set or stage. Audiences experience opera by interacting with the virtual world in a VR headset. This transforms the conventional medium of operatic performance by removing physical performers. My research looks at the artist's own experiential process, drawing upon and implementing HCI iterative design processes. The prototype of Artemis is developed in Unity 3D, the game design engine, or Tilt Brush, simultaneously with the interactive opera composition composed in Finale, a Western notation digital scoring software. Fmod is used to implement the interactive audio in Unity 3D. The process of self-experiential prototyping, which is employed in my research, is grounded in human-computer interaction, user experience, and interaction design. The underpinning theories are human-centered, drawing upon the theories put forth by Benyon, 2013. UX experiences such as VR opera should be human-centered, comfortable experiences. Comfortable experiences for audience members entail safety and increased enjoyability in the experience. Benyon 2013 states that the framework for designing interactive systems is PACT. The P stands for people, the A in PACT stands for activities, the C in PACT stands for contexts, and the T stands for technologies. Designing a virtual reality interactive experience involves drawing upon HCI and interaction design. User experience is an interaction between a computer and a human. Mapping has been used in the sense of the hand moving up in VR. Good design requires thought and an understanding of how people react. Feedback is important as a fundamental of interaction. Human-centered design is a design philosophy. It starts with people through observation of people. Human-centered design avoids specifying the problem as long as possible to design products that meet the needs of people. Ultimately, fantastic designers create pleasurable experiences for users and are human-centered. This applies to my VR prototyping, as users should have a pleasurable experience in which they feel safe, as virtual reality opera simulations are for entertainment purposes and are specifically created for the enjoyment of users. Sound is key to creating effective VR interactive experiences. Sound can aid and add presence, as sound is a diegetic presence builder. Sound is a navigation aid. Sound adds believability, and sound can induce a mood. I created 4 spatialized 3D audio sources in Unity 3D. which attach to each of the 4 Greek phase assets. I also experimented with utilising the Fmod Studio event emitters in conjunction with Unity. I prototyped using the Fmod 3D object spatializer. Whilst the user physically walks around the virtual environment in the VR headset, different pieces from the opera play as they react to the distance of the user. I used audio source components in Unity for the high-level environment sounds. I recorded the Foley myself and implemented it in the VE. I recorded the Foley of bees and cicadas and EQ'd the Foley in Logic Pro X. I then mapped the sound source of the EQ'd bees to the red tree in my virtual environment. Spatial audio is important for immersion. Kuhn states that audio is the most important element in VR immersion. 3D spatial audio may aid spatial awareness navigation. Using spatial sound is a cheap UI aid for graphics trade-off, as highlighted by Brenda Laurel in Laurel's Atari research in the 1980s. Sound deepens the narrative, and creators may use it for affordance discovery. My compositions go with the theme of each visual tilt brush environment and fuse them to create an engaging experience. Panning is used in Ableton Live and Finale during the mixing stages of the compositions to create a rich, immersive audio experience. Fmod Spatializer and the Unity 3D sound setting for each audio source are utilized to create the interactive virtual reality opera ARTEMIS. I recorded each aria and duet in the UK Nixon Room Performance Hall and edited them in Ableton Live 9. Here is a demo video of the audio implementation The light and sound architect, Xenakis, implemented his scores and mathematical formulae visualizations to create architectural structures. I draw upon Xenakis' light and sound architecture techniques to develop the VR opera, fusing visual and sonic elements to create an opera set in ancient Greece. ARTEMIS Autumn Air entails users being immersed in the 360-degree environment, which corresponds to the theme of each aria or duet. By creating and making assets and models of the visual experience in Tiltbrush, it gives deeper meaning to the creative process by creating in VR for VR. Thus, I bring in my perspective from the get-go by prototyping in VR in real time. This results in a cyclical artistic practice process in action formula for creating new VR music works. For the interactive EXE version of the prototype, virtual hands are utilized as social presence is enhanced with virtual hands which map to your real hands. This is called hand presence. Thus, virtual black hands have been created for hand tracking. Similarly, 3D sound spatial imagery and immersive 3D sound creates an intimate sense of being there and aids navigating spatially. Thus, spatial audio is used in the EXE interactive prototype. How can we further develop an iterative loop for designing for VR by drawing upon the rule of the loop? The rule of the loop emphasizes that the more frequently that you test and improve your design, the better your game will be. The rule of the loop is not a lens because it is not a perspective, it is an absolute truth. Shell 2020, page 100. Thus, frequent iterative testing is employed in my VR design process. The idea behind risk mitigation is that one tries to reduce and eliminate risks to game enjoyment, to improve game mechanics and the effectiveness of the overall game experience. This is achieved by building lots of fast and dirty small prototypes. I implemented this technique throughout 2020 and 2021 to create the first iterations of the opera ARTEMIS Autumn Air. This technique is backed up by Shell 2020 in the statement, "It is widely understood that rapid prototyping is crucial for quality game development," page 109. Risk mitigation and prototyping workflow was modeled off the workflow presented in Shell 2020. I employed and utilized problem statements for VR prototyping using the formal loop technique. Figure 1 explains the steps needed for self-experiential prototyping to create new VR opera experiences. The steps entail brainstorming ideas for VE creation, followed by building one's VE in Unity 3D. Thirdly, one moves into an iterative cycle of writing down a problem statement and solo testing in the VR headset. Once one has completed this systematic cyclic process, and one goes on to receive expert advice from VR creators in the field. Utilizing the doing self-experiential prototyping Figure 2 cyclic model helps one structure one's iterative VR prototyping process. By following the steps to create VR opera in a systematic fashion, by writing down the problem statement prior to building the VE in Unity 3D, one has a clear methodology for designing an effective VR opera experience. Solo testing in the VR headset follows in a linear fashion. Utilizing problem statements in an iterative loop is drawn from game design methodology, and the testing of these problem statements forms a methodological way for creating a VR opera in a planned manner. Further prototypes of my opera creation can be found on Tanaro's Music on YouTube. Thank you.